Hey folks, JWoww, Planet JWoww. So this may be standalone and it may be connected to other videos. I'm still learning how to navigate. Thank you, ooh la la, Jeff Norbert. I'm learning how to navigate my own sense of multidimensionality. And that gets to be a sentence that actually works. I keep saying it gets to be, and I'm as much talking to myself as I am talking to y'all. By the time some of you are seeing this, if I'm doing what I think I'm doing, what y'all are telling me I'm doing, then you know a whole bunch about me and what goes into what I'm saying now. I'm going to trust that the future holds the magnificent, legendary, and positive credentials of my intensely legended life. And live into that sentence. And make me up in public and then find out how I'm already living what I say I want to live. That's how I keep pulling myself forward and still carrying what I love out of my past. And then there's a point where things are like, yeah, I'm done. I can move on. I can let them go, or they compost themselves, or something happens. I don't know if y'all are hip to someone named Lady Speech. Lady Speech is badass. I love seeing someone living into a power that I graze. I sweep through that at times where they seem to live. It's stunning. It's exquisite. Thank you, Ronnie Jean Andrews Neal, for that introduction. And I'm bringing Lady Speech up because of that intensity. I live that differently. And now I'm teaching myself how to be proud of myself. And I'm realizing as I'm standing here, y'all, if you would be so kind as to help me revel in how I help people delight in themselves. I want folks to feel proud of themselves. That's a wonderful place to start, to feel good, out of a place of being proud of ourselves. And I give great compliments. So I want folks, there's a place, it's, I think it's Brag for Bliss. And in 20 minutes, folks will tell me something that they feel is going to delight me, that they are so proud of themselves for, that makes a difference in other people's lives, that makes a major difference for their life. Something that they're really, 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 really proud of. Okay. And there's criteria that I'm figuring out what that is, because I'm looking to feed myself on a steady diet of delight in wonderful people having wonderful moments of doing wonderful things, filled with wonder, full of wonder. That's what I want. And so I'm asking the world to please share it with me. It's lovely that people curate and they show me things and they send me videos and what have you. This is my way of experiencing people's lives. They get to share. In the spaces, there are so many folks who either have to put on, the front of course I brag about myself, when what they really want to do is do this really tender, just like, isn't this wonderful? and get to hear folks say, yes, it is. And they don't get to do that. I am that place for so many people, and now I get to be it for people that I don't know. And we're going to start with me being that place for folks in a way that they get to keep living inside that delighted moment. And part of me, I think the thing that has, by the way, I would like to say that this is me living into my reality by sharing it out loud with you and sharing it out loud with all of me, letting my words' resonances matter in how I call forward what it is that we're doing in our game. Yeah, a whole weird dissonant thing in there. All right, there we go. Anyway, turn the music off. Um, Real means different things to me in any given moment, not only across moments in any given moment. There are at least 24 perspectives happening all at the same time. It's that fly eye thing. And it's an incredible lens array. And I'm getting to revel in its complexities in ways that are becoming more like flow. And I get to do that because of working with the founder of Harnessing Intent, Ronnie Jean Andrews Neal, who lives a flow across dimensions. That's part of how we counted on connecting. Because anyway. And that moment right there are a bunch of you who are laughing right now, and right? I clear my realities that I feel, my realities that I feel, and trust that they will become the real that I feel. When it feels real to be real, we get to be more real. And everyone in here thinks that, feels that, says that. So I find things that folks can do. The LJ has her own email. In fact, everybody has their own, well, not individually because the animals, anyway, yes. Folks have their own emails. It's in anticipation of them ever wanting to connect directly with the world through yes. That's amazing to me because it's there energetically. It's in the seeds of the world, and the world was not kind about things like that back when I did it. I just felt that the world that I wanted to live in, the world that we wanted to live in, would have that there, because it would make it so that folks who are more than one in a single meat sack could feel everyone being welcomed. That was my hope. That was my anticipation. That was my clearing into the world. That and here we are. There's a website that's got a brilliant page about what they're calling plurality. And I'm going to stick with my multiplicity for now, till I have more of a feel about what that plurality thing means. The multiplicity, again, our words shape who we are. The words are what we have spelled, as in magic. So that's why I'm such a please, let's do this about weaving additional magics into the etymological technology of energetic verse weaving. Yeah. Okay. Class. I'm picking it up, and there's that code right there. Someone set up a time online and a page and talk with me, and I will do a class, and people will pay for me to think out loud about that and then go do things that make people's worlds better. So that's the fun part. And yeah, it's really neat to talk. It's really wonderful to see, to watch worlds change because I have existed in somebody's world. That feeds my enormous ego. It helps me be happy about sharing as much as I do. And now I say I want to talk all the time, and folks are like, we want to listen. So I'm going to talk all the time. And I'm going to share what I want. I want to be able to, okay, I have told the story over and over again. The little boy who screams, I want what I want because I want it. First woman to make big money, make $1 million on YouTube, as I recall. She was pretty. That's what she was. And it was video. She's like, I'm pretty. Send me a buck. Right? Tell me $1 million. Now, I've got some details messed up about that, I'm sure. Y'all know how that faction thing is. And my bottom line is the lesson. And I do believe that she did make $1 million. Dude, beauty is something to be cherished. And my lesson from that was that something that can be cherished at a threshold that's acceptable and accessible, both, to a large number of people in a way that's consistent, builds a global tribe. And I want to take that principle right there. And I would like to teach that at a business school that's got an open mind to reciproconomic principles and, their shamanic roots. There's a class. And be able to bring in healers who've been working with me and folks who've been studying here, who want to get their medicines out into the world, and the wonderful mainstream folks who have open arms, if only they can trust the magic that they believe that they are receiving. And I'm a trustworthy place. I set out to get the trappings of trustworthiness in the mainstream specifically because I saw a day when the king's dream, the roots of the king's dream become the branches of the queen's wings. We are the temple of the dancing roots. There's a whole prayer ceremony thing speaking that I ache to do here regularly. Simply say the things that are there, talk about stuff, and be in a space where we can language together and a calibration that aligns us along the axes of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment. We make that happen. We make that happen. We can and we are. Choose action now, can, and we are. I mean, it's the constant coding. It is across decades. It is finally paying off in us. I'm doing things the way I'm doing them out of want. I want what I want because I want it. The living out loud, I'm saying here what I want. And until I get a thing, when it comes up, I'll say that I want it. And I'm going to keep talking about that. I am the urban bliss shaman. These are the things that will bring me bliss. It's not a sudden thing right now. I've for over 2 decades, 22 years, in fact, I've been about this bliss thing. It's critical. It's part of how we move out of consent, which doesn't necessarily have any joy attached, to welcome, which is by definition includes some measure of joy. We're moving into a culture of welcome. A culture of welcome is what we're building: inclusion, welcome, and empowerment. And a culture of welcome is what we're building on Planet JWoww. And we're using the languaging of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment, and all of the spelling that goes with that empowerment is not as it's MEANT for starters. Which brings me back to, I want to remember, take a look at the difference between being mean and meaning. What is and of course there's the mathematical mean, I've got that. And in the emotionality part, when did being mean, and that's a mean person, a negative thing? Why is that at the root of the innovation, nourishment, and growth version of that somehow becomes something critical and important to us, the meaning of life? What's that about? That's some interesting programming. Because, no, wait, I'm going to stay on this. And by the way, I've already answered my question about my experiment. It takes too long. If I could hit a button like I do on Marco Polo, and things would automatically go out, in broadcast in the interrupted, the syncopated broadcast, I would do it. It took too much to go out and then come back and do that. All right, great. So I hope I didn't lose where I was. And if I did, it'll come back. Meaning. I was talking about meaning. And I was also, the thing about the programming with words is that negativity something that came to be associated with rooted clarity? If so, why the negativity about it? And let's erase that question, because that's not a useful question. We're in a conversation. How can we set ourselves up to choose action now? Conversation, as well as the positive, I can, yes, I can. How do we set ourselves up to be in a conversation about actions that we want to take? I'm in a conversation about safety. because I believe that power exists in part along an axis of safety. Power being defined as the ability to influence that which is not our isness. And there's a certain sense that that influence moves us along some axis of, or plane around on some plane of safety that lets us know how we feel about the power. Some people say safe power is an oxymoron, and I don't think so. It depends upon whether you're facing inside or outside. Because if there's inclusion, there's exclusion. It's called a boundary. And I'm going to cycle back around out of that boundary to at what point do we welcome boundaries? Do we welcome the idiosyncratic, designed for us precision of limitations? At what point do we welcome with joy those things which stop us so that we know where stillness might occur? That's one thing. So that we can make choices about whether or not we want more time with what we know is possible for us in the inclusion, in the included places. Okay, so we're facing inward. We get to choose love to be woven in with all of the things so that there are opportunities for delight. Love brings us delight. And all those things weave together in the mojusin that's around how we have our folks inside get to experience real-ality for themselves that can be shared with other. And technology is what helps that happen. Yep. And all of that comes because it's where we feel safe. It's where we feel sovereign. It's where we can be aware of what's available to us, what our surroundings are, being able to relax into that. The things that we touch with our awareness are such that we get to relax and simply be present. We know that we are safe, and that's from everyone. This is a great way for me to not worry about whether or not I am overburdening people. I worry about that less and less as I'm on here. And I find myself, which is delightful, listening more and more when I'm with folks in physical reality, because my desire to talk all the time, I'm getting to do that. It's a getting to. Enough of you have said, I want to hear what you have to say, that I'm taking up talking a lot so that I can listen more when I'm with others. And I got to this place out of a grace gift of folks listening, lots and lots, thousands of folks listening intently. And saying, I would listen to lots more of this if there was lots more of this. There's about to be lots more, I think. Not I think. That was an apology I don't mean. There's about to be lots more. And we'll see what happens. I'm so excited about seeding this, doing this together, writing these things together, creating these things together as a global tribe. How do we do that in delight and safety? You know, we've seen these projects where they get, you know, hundreds of musicians to play the same piece. Maybe that's part of it. If somebody knows how to do that, let me know. All right, I'm going to take a break. I need food. I'll be back. I'm JWoww of Planet JWoww, and we are tribe sourced humans. This is our legend that we are building together, sweet ones. Thank you so much. Sticking to it. Until soon.